welcome, guys. Thank you guys for taking the time out to come together as a family here on this virtual communication. I know everybody's just still adjusting to this whole social distancing thing. So welcome to our youth podcast, Social Distancing Party on Zoom. Again, thank you guys for taking the time out to just, have a conversation real quick. We just want to get your views and just see how you feel regarding all of this stuff. Now, I know in regards to, coronavirus isolation, it's also spiking the lead in a lot of domestic violence, child abuse issues. People that are already really, that have experienced this now, it's just like they're somewhat in this whole cave of now this is all that they're looking forward to. Like they're stuck in a house, nowhere to go. So how do you think this will lead to, reports I've seen on ABC News, I've seen on New York Times in regards to reports of child abuse, domestic violence, even again, talking about the film, documentary, Gabriel Fernandez trial. Just your thoughts and perspectives on this whole isolation piece and how it's affecting our mothers or whoever is facing domestic violence as well as our children.
Well, I think that forcing kids to go home without knowing the home situation is really cautious and it must be a tough decision to be made. But honestly, I feel like school districts don't think of things like that about what kids are being affected, not just if they're being affected by being hungry, they're being affected mentally and physically by being abused or neglected by their parents or their guardian, especially the foster care system and people and kids that are placed into homes and stuff like that where they're not being treated how they should be treated. So I feel like the decision had to be made, but it was, for me, I think that's a difficult decision to make because you have on one hand trying to stop a virus from spreading further, but on the other hand you have students that go through real life things every day and every moment. So it's you never know what really goes on at home unless they say something.
For me, does the mandated reporter training and stuff like that is it still in effect, or do teachers still report any abuse that they see? It's just do the different trainings that they have to go through, are they still in effect, and how are they doing it without people knowing how you do things in secret? And it's yes, yeah, it's sad. At the same time, it's also not a lot of people know that children are being abused. So it's just I think it's a awareness factor of it, but also that was my only question is do they still go through the mandated reporter trainings, and do they still report anything that they see?
Absolutely. As a mandated reporter, that's their job. If they're feeling like that it's experience, or if you're suspecting any type of thing, you want to just tell somebody. The first thing is to just tell. Again, I don't know if all of you seen the documentary, but that teacher spoke out. Whether the system took the precautions and the appropriate steps to move forward with it as they should have, that teacher spoke out and she took the first steps because she felt some suspicion. But again, it's kids go to school as a place for peace when, spouses going to work just to get away. So it's kind of now what, where do I go? Do I, step outside? I can't go anywhere because we're on this mandated protocol. But yes, it's still our job as mandated reporters, people that are, law enforcement, educators, anybody, mandated reporters too.
But even with that, not all teachers report stuff. They'll hear stuff in class, and they'll be concerning things that kids say, but they won't report it because whether they know if the kid's joking or not, or they won't do a follow-up after class with the student if they heard something or if something didn't sit well with them. Not a lot of teachers do that. So I feel it's just up to the teacher and up to the situation.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so what's up with the teachers? Are they afraid? Or what's up with the teachers not trying to report that? Do they not want to get caught up with the system or politics, or feeling like they're telling on a person, or scared that they're doing the right thing, but just scared that the child will be removed and, displaced into a foster home, and it'll go through this whole process. And they're kind of afraid from the child going through that whole situation. That's the reason why they just are afraid to just speak up, or they don't want to just be involved.
I think for this one, it's the fear of if they were to report somebody and they're wrong, then they might receive backlash from the parent, from the student, from the student's friends, because they made this false assumption that this student was being abused or this student was being hit or deprived of their emotional needs and so on and so forth. So I think many teachers would hold back from reporting because of the fear that they are wrong and that they will receive this backlash from others.
I also I agree with it to a certain extent, but it's like teachers will know, but at the same time, it's just like what the kids go through at home. So one of my old friends, she told me a story about how her mom used to like abuse her too. Well, discipline her, but to the extreme. So like she had told a teacher, and the teacher told law enforcement like they were supposed to. And then the family told them no, she was like, she was lying basically, and this and that. And so like, it's not only that the teachers are scared, but it's also the student's family as well, because it's majority rules. So and it could also be the fear of leaving that home, leaving your family, and leaving that place, because that's all so so I believe that it's not only the teacher, but it's also the student as well.
Right. And because as a Black people as a whole, we are good at covering up things. So like we can act one way in front of a certain group of people based on where we're at, or if we want to show this certain emotion at this particular time, or we're just really good at suppressing a lot of emotions and not showing people how we really feel on the inside. So like, even with that, like when I mentioned how teachers may not know if they're telling the truth or not, some people, they tell the truth, but they do a good job of covering it up so good that it doesn't translate as, oh, this person's really going through this.
Yeah. Again, I mean, if you are out there, listening to this and you feel, suspicions or suspect that somebody is going through this at this time, or you feel like, a certain student or a child or even spouse, wife, friend, neighbor that's been in a situation, make sure you check in on them or speak up. Don't be afraid, because we got to help our people now. This isolation period, it sort of makes it worse as people are used to going to their safe spaces. We just got to end this, man. It's just crazy. So in regards to that, how do you feel like it will, as far as our community, we live in this, Greater Hartford community, what do you feel like the spike of violence or, surrounding there? I know we had something that happened last week. I'm not sure on the exact details, but people are not supposed to be outside, but it's like, being isolated, losing it, scared. It's just like they don't know what to do. They're bored. So, that could spark up just violence in the community where, we face average 100 homicides a year and, violence and trauma. So what do you feel like that will stand with our in our inner city community?
I mean, like, people are like always like, now that people are being forced to stay home and like stay where they're at, it's like they're surrounded around people, more people than normal. So like, I feel like there might be a spike in violence, but also I haven't heard anything recently. So like, maybe the fear of the virus is keeping people away and out of drama and out of the mix, hopefully. But
well, there could be like I heard before, there was like a fight in Hartford, like it was like a group of people, but at the same time it could like spike any like cyberbullying, any type of like other things that are going on through the internet. So like that on-site basically. So it's just like the different things that usually aren't seen, I would say, during like while we're at school or stuff like that. Like there's more spike in violence due to being on the internet, and there's really nothing to do. So my next question is, how are teachers / educators with kids supposed to manage homeschooling their own kids and be available to their school students online?
So I know specifically for a couple of my teachers, especially like my math teacher, she has specific office hours in which she will open up a Zoom meeting for us. So if we have any questions, we ask her during those specific office hours. And then the rest of her day, she is taking care of her kindergartners. She has to homeschool them. And she just gives us assignments that are due Friday. And if we have any questions, we would contact her through those office hours on Zoom.
Yeah, I also have office hours for my school. Like today, they're explaining everything because basically we have school Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, it's just straight office hours. So you could talk to literally any teacher on a Zoom link and able to get help in any specific classes, any project that you still have to do, because they're still going to assign work on Schoology and still give reports and daily schedules.
So speaking of that, I know I want to still touch on this, but utilizing these platforms, like what if we didn't have technology? Like, as far as like communication, obviously this conversation can go a whole different way, but really utilizing these platforms and, you guys being tech savvy with social media, TikTok, Snapchats and things like that, knowing that you guys can get on these sources and connecting with your teachers. But a lot of teachers they have children, they have to do the same thing that your parents probably have to do. Obviously, some have younger kids. You guys are a little bit more responsible because you're teenagers. But, it's just really check-ins. But as far as teachers with younger children, just really going through the whole process of making sure that they get through this, they're needing help, they're coaching them on top of that, checking with their kids at the school. So I feel like it's a period to where they could just balance out, say, listen, from this time to this time, I'm gonna just check in on my students online because, the course and the guidelines are pretty much clear for them to, take these steps. If they do need help, I can check in to see if they do need help. But yet you're doing that same, routine with your kids. So what do you think as far as how has the process been for you guys? I know some of you are starting Monday, some of you started today, some of you have already started. What's the process like with reaching out to your teachers and getting that assistance or help? Is it, I know, because everybody's still getting adjusted to it. So
yeah, I've heard, like, literally,
help, how has that been?
Some teachers haven't even said anything until like yesterday. Like my Latin teacher hasn't posted anything on Google Classroom until yesterday. And yesterday he was basically telling us that we're doing alternative learning online. And so I just feel like certain teachers care more. Like my math teacher, he reached out to us from the beginning. He's the only reason why we actually know what's really going on with the school. And we just found this out today that our school day starts at 9 and we get out at 1, but from 1 to 3 is the office hours. So
1 to 3 is the office hours every day?
For my school, yeah. But I don't think we have school Wednesday. I think Wednesday is their professional development days, because I looked at the schedule and it had some different stuff on there, but that I didn't recognize. So I don't think that's for us. I think it's for the teachers. But we have school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we have all our classes for half an hour.
And the office hours are only from 1 to 3. That's for each teacher?
Yeah.
Is that enough? Is that enough?
I mean, we don't get a lot of homework as it is anyway. Well, but for us, for my grade specifically, most of our best classes come with interaction and just going off topic and us putting our ideas into the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So
and you're a junior, so what do you think it's like for the elementary level, as far as, of course, now you see how the literacy development is very poor. Reading, writing, and math. How do you feel like that will, deter with the young?
Especially right now, even though some teachers do their job and some don't. For elementary, I feel bad because they're not getting the same level of education at home as they would get in at school. So some parents just don't know how to teach their kids certain things, and some kids are not that receptive. So you have to put in more effort into one child more than the next because one child to get it quicker, but then the next child will take a little bit longer. So I feel like that's with them being in school and them getting that extra help from a teacher that knows what they're doing is really beneficial to them. But because of the virus and them having to stay home and not really, and their routine is kind of messed up because, you know, once you get a kid into a routine, they know when everything's supposed to be X, Y, and Z lined up and stuff. So I just feel like the whole taking us out of school is like a whole thing. And like colleges are canceling graduation for 2020 graduates. Like just high school things as far as like prom, graduation, senior trips. I mean, some schools have canceled them already.
I know this is out of our control, but how does that make y'all feel, man? Like, this is like once in a lifetime stuff.
Like recently, when I've been like working on projects and stuff, it's been really hard for us to like get the exact instruction that we need. So most of us have been stuck on the things that we need to do. So it's like we can't all get the same learning opportunity as we could in school, and they still expect us to get everything done in that same time frame of like time. And all my teachers have different office hours, so you have to learn their office hours so you can get the help that you need. So it's kind of confusing as to when I can get the help, because sometimes they don't even answer until later on in the night. And the schedule that they gave us, I just found out it's not mandatory. So if somebody wants to do some homework later on in the night, then they can't get any help with it because the teacher's office hours were in the morning or something like that. So this for the kids, it's not giving them enough like equitable opportunities, because a lot of kids need different things in order for them to learn. So I know for myself that I'm not a learner from just videos and stuff. I need to be taught in a classroom. So it's like, this is not for me. Online learning is not for me. So
At all. This is like the worst. Like, especially because we have like really slow, not short attention spans. Like we have really short attention spans. Like in the focus level, for us to personally have to go on our phones and go online and go and pursue the work is like, for some students just don't care. So like it's like I'm not gonna do it. But like they're putting a lot of, I wouldn't want to say pressure, but like a lot of responsibility on us to get our work done and to pursue homework and pursue going to online school.
Well,
But
then
for
again,
me,
you have to. Okay, go ahead.
I was about to say, for me, I'm in college, so like my teachers aren't really doing that online stuff. It's just basically like, okay, watch this video and then do the homework, because like that's what they were doing before, but we had some type of instruction. Like before, like in the classroom, you get the instruction, you get to work on what you had to work on, and then you would go online and then do the work. But now we just have to do the work from the video, and then after that we would do our homework online. So yeah, that's all I had to say. It was like, it's just like basically like college stuff.
No, go ahead, Chris. You were saying something?
Nah, if you think about it like that, it's not mainly about like attention span and stuff like that, because there are different things that go into play. Because basically, there's a reason why we have school. School is a environment that is based upon learning. So therefore, you go there where you could lock off most distractions from home, right, and learn. But the only difference is that you're just out of your element. So at the end of the day, it all depends on your mindset, on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish in life. If you want to learn bad enough, you would do what is necessary to, get what you want. So I wouldn't blame it on attention span, but I'm willing to you. Omari.
Hold on, one second.
Interject.
You said it's not on there. All right, cool. Not on the attention span, but it's also the way that they learn. So some kids can't learn the way. It's not the fact that they're not going out to go learn what they need to learn. It's some of them can't learn this way. So if attention span, that goes into it too, because if they can't learn that way, then they get bored. What do they do? Tune out. Like, learning does not go the same for everybody. So if it's going in one way, it's going to be left out the other way because they don't understand it that way. They need to be taught and understand, digest the knowledge.
So there's a difference with being forced to go to school and having a choice to go to school.
That's a topic that I don't think we're ready to discuss, because that's a deep topic.
Why is that a deep topic?
No, because really and truly, I'm positive that if everyone had the choice, nearly 85% of kids would stay home.
No, I don't think that's true.
You don't think that's true?
No,
I don't.
As much as we say we don't want to go to school, honestly speaking, majority of people that say that do want to go to school. But you do have those few people that be like, oh, I'm not doing this, or
yeah, but I'm telling you, if you give the chance of freedom, right, into their hands, like, yo, do you want to go to school today? Because I'm telling you, there are even moments where there are people who like to go to school, right, who don't feel like going to school. If you give them that chance, they will not go to school.
Chris, your point is invalid. Your point is very invalid right now because you see.
How is it invalid?
Listen. I disagree because the kids right now outside of school are begging to go back into school. So them being bored right now is them saying, I want to go back to school. As much as I hate saying
they only want to go back to school.
Want to go back to school.
They can't go anywhere.
So here's this.
Understand that.
Here's this real quick. To Chris's point, you said if they had the freedom and choice not to go to school, they wouldn't do it. So what do you think they were doing these last couple of weeks when they weren't assigned anything online, when they didn't know what was going on but the virus? We know we got to stay inside. We don't have school. You know what I'm saying? What was going on through everybody's heads? What was going on through y'all heads? Y'all in high school, but
look at me, I dyed my freaking head.
What you
Who
said?
dyed their hair?
I dyed my hair because I was so bored. Like, there was nothing to do.
You say you dyed your hair?
Yes, and I've been making TikToks. Like, it's crazy. Like, forever, like, when you're stuck in the house and you really cannot go anywhere, like, everything's closed and the government or, like, the state is telling you that after 8 o'clock, nobody should be outside and stuff like that, you really have to find other ways to intrigue yourself and, like, you know, just keep yourself from going insane. You're forcing people, well, not forcing, you're asking people to stay in the house. And sometimes, you know, we don't have a lot of things to do. Nobody wants to sit around all the time and just watch TV. Not everybody can do that. So, like, it's just, like, it's really hard because I'm trying not to go insane. I'm really trying.
So to an extent, it could be a lesson learned because of the fact that we say so much, dang, I'm tired of school, but then when we come to this unexpected isolation period, it's like, oh, now I miss my friends. I need to do something. I got to go somewhere because now, if all this time I was able to stay home, what is there to do, right?